Hello everyone, welcome to a live trading session where you'll see me make trades in real time and you'll hear my thought process throughout the trading session. We got about 25 minutes until the market opens. So every morning before the market opens, I log into my computer and I open up my volume gap scanners. These scanners are searching for stocks that are trading on abnormally high volume and also are gapping up with a high percentage. This morning looks like it's going to be a quiet morning, and from the looks of it, it doesn't look like I may be making any trades today. But what this volume scanner helps me is to kind of gauge or plan ahead of what possible stocks I may trade for once the bell opens. So we got MDGS here, the first one on the list. It's gapping up 6%, and it has 84,000 shares of volume. So what I'm looking for is when I'm combing through these stocks and looking at their charts, I'm looking at the pre-market action. The pre-market action can kind of tell you what the overall interest is of that stock for that day. So right now, if we look at the 1 minute chart, this light gray area is the pre-market trading, and this dark gray area will be once the bell opens. But as of now, these candlestick shapes are not ideal. You see how there's a couple dotted ones in here, a couple dots, and they're some are long, some have big wicks on them. This means that there's not really much trading going on, and as you see, it's only 84,000 shares of volume during pre-market. So that's telling me not many traders are interested in this stock right now. MDGS, if we take a look at the news, it looks like today, well, actually, there's no news on it as of now. So we want to be trading stocks that are high on news with lots of volume, gapping up a large percentage. That's going to be a really good stock to take a look at. But right now, just looking at the candle shapes, I don't really like this action in pre-market as well as the direction. There's not really a clear uptrend or downtrend. It's just sideways. It kind of has this maybe hook pattern. So this isn't really a stock that I'm going to be interested in it because it doesn't really fit all my criteria just based on the chart of what I like to trade. So the very next one is SNGX. SNGX, this is its pre-market chart. Now it's not as bad as MDGS as we saw over here, but it's okay. But again, we are trading sideways. So the candles look a little better. There's still a couple dotted ones in here, but overall, I think the trend is still flat, and if not, it's downtrending. So we make a line like that, and we're making lower highs. So this is not something that I'm going to be really excited about. But then again, you have to understand that this is just pre-market trading. This could all change once the bell opens, just like MDGS. Once the bell opens, who knows? Lots of traders can put out orders, and this thing can pick up in volume, and it can start rising. But at the moment, I don't see that happening. Same thing with SNGX. Once the bell opens, we could start taking off. But at the moment, we just have to sit and wait for the bell to open. All pre-market action does for me is just kind of give me an idea of what the stock price may do during the open. So once I have a good idea of the chart pattern, maybe the candlestick shapes, maybe they're looking good, they fit my criteria, the volume's there, traders are trading it, it's in a strong uptrend. Once I see that in pre-market, then I simply come over to the daily chart and map out all the support and resistance on the daily chart. So this is the 1 minute chart right here. I'm going to come over to the daily chart and map out all possible support and resistance. So right now we're trading about $1.30. So let's go to the daily chart, and we're going to look at the price area around $1.30. and map out all the support and resistance areas that are around $1.30, because we don't want to map out support and resistance way up here at $20, because the stock price is nowhere near that. So $1.30 is right around here, and the first one that I see is going to be in between these moving averages. So the 100-day moving average, which is this light blue line, that's actually located at $1.24. I'm going to put a line there at around $1.24, make that light blue to let me know that this is the 100-day moving average. I'm going to also put a line at the 200 moving average at $1.34. So there's $1.34. I'm going to make that dark blue to let me know that that is the 200-day moving average. And those are the closest moving averages that I see. Remember, moving averages can act as support and resistance. They are basically dynamic support and resistance lines. Let me get rid of this line. So the next thing I do once I mapped out the support and resistance lines through moving averages that are close by, I now map out support and resistance based off the candlesticks. So the very first one I see possibly would be probably at this swing high and through here. Let me make this yellow, because a yellow line will tell me that this is a daily support / resistance line off of candlestick patterns. So we have a swing high and through here. We may have a couple candle bodies that touch in through there. Next one I see is probably in through here. All I'm doing is mapping out all the swing highs and swing lows. So here's a swing low, here's a swing low in here, there's a swing high in through there. So that's a possibility. Next one would probably be in through here. I'm just trying to get as many touches as possible. So swing high, swing high, swing high. Looks like there could be a little candle touch in there, swing low, some support. So that's a possibility. And I think that's probably going to be it for the time being. So if we zoom back out and go to the 1 minute chart, this is the framework that we are working with. This is all the support and resistance levels that we could possibly pinball in between. And as you see, right here in pre-market, we're now pinballing in between the 100-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So by mapping out all these levels, we can kind of predict where the stock might go. If we break above the 200-day moving average and hold, we're most likely going to test this next resistance line at 146 coming off the daily chart. If we find resistance at the 200-day, we can't break above it, we're probably going to go down and test the 100-day. So this is just mapping out all the possibilities of where we can pinball, and we can make trades based off of what the candles do around these daily support and resistance levels. So that is really it. That's all I do in pre-market. It takes 5-10 minutes of your time, and once you mapped out all the possibilities, all the support and resistance levels off of the volume leaders, then you have your map. You have the areas where you can make trades off of. But once the bell opens, I kind of get rid of this volume scanner, and then now I'm looking at the real-time momentum and high volume scanners. And these are searching for stocks that are really getting traders' attention, and that's going to pop up on here. So this is my real-time scanners of what I look for during the market session. So we got about 15 minutes until the bell opens. I'm going to pause video and come back once the bell opens. Okay, bell's about to open here in about 10 seconds. I do not take trades until about 10 minutes after the market open, because this is the time that stocks are most volatile. And it's very easy to get whipsawed or shaken out or wind up in a big losing trade because stocks are so volatile. So you may think that it will go up at the open, but it doesn't. It just drops, and it drops hard. You want things to shake out, and that takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And during that 5 or 10 minutes, the stock will tend to choose a direction that it wants to go for that day. So as you see right now, this stock is going down, but that doesn't mean that it's going to go down just yet. It's just testing these areas of support and resistance, bouncing off of this 100-day moving average. Maybe if it bounces off, it'll test the 200-day. But during that 5-10 minutes, it will start to make some sort of trend. So just waiting patiently just to see which direction a stock will go. And if we have a clear cut direction that something is very obvious, and it will provide a good opportunity, then we'll take a trade. But until then, just going to sit tight and be patient. So I'm going to pause the video and come back once we find something good. All right, so we got a couple stocks here that have popped up on our scanners. BOXL, this thing is just being a monster today, but it's way overextended. I wouldn't touch this one right now just because look at the 5-minute chart. We have multiple white candles, no pullback whatsoever. So getting in on this stock right now would be extremely risky. Looking at MBOT right here, I like this one if we can get a 5-minute bull flag pattern. Let me change this to this type of view. Change this to the 5-minute chart. This will be the daily. So looking at the daily chart, I've already mapped out possible support and resistance. Here at around 840, we have some swing highs, swing low in there. Right around 960, we got a swing high, a couple swing highs. So I like this if we can break above the previous candle high, which is right now 894. So where's our risk going to be, or our stop loss? Our stop loss is going to be below this support line. So it looks like we're finding some support right here at 839. We want to give it a little bit of buffer. So maybe 829. If we were to get this stock at, let's just call it $9, we're risking about 70 cents. So if we want to risk $100, we divide that by 0.70. So this will give us around 140 shares to work with. So we can type in 140 shares right there. Our stop price is going to be 828. So we'll type in 828 right there. So we got about 5 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. I would like to ideally see one more small pullback candle in here, just a tiny pullback candle, and one more touch of this 840 level just to confirm that that is support. But if we take off before that, that's okay. But what we want to see right now is another touch of 840 on really light volume. So here comes the touch of 840. We can look at the level 2, see if there's a big amount of shares on the bid around 840 to see if that level indeed has a lot of shares sitting on it, and that will act as support. But we don't want to buy right now. We don't want to just guess at this moment that level, that 840 level, is going to hold. You want to wait for that confirmation. So we got about 4 minutes left on this candle. This is the candle shape I want to see right here. I want to see this candle shape. Now there's still plenty of time for this candle to take form, so there's no really telling what exactly is going to happen right now. But if we get that candle shape, then we're looking for the break of this candle high. So this candle high is 870. Our stop is going to be still at 828. So that is going to be around a 40-cent risk. So if we're risking $100, we divide that by 40 cents. That'll be 250 shares. So we can increase our share size, 250. So this is making our cents at risk tighter, which will allow us to profit more and get that bigger risk-reward ratio. So 250 shares is where we want to get this. So we got about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Still plenty of time for this to shake out, but it looks like it is finding some support right here. So what we want to see is this candle, take around that shape. What's the high of that candle? 870. Once the next candle forms, we want to see 870 come up on the ask, 870 to get bought, get the break of 870, and then we'll buy. So I'm going to change this to a market order. So we got about 2 minutes left. Still plenty of time for this to shake out. So once 870 breaks, that's when I will hit the buy button to buy 250 shares at market. So this is a perfect bull flag strategy forming right now, but we want to wait for that confirmation because there's no telling if on the next candle we may drop through, and that'll be the end of this. But this is exactly what we want to see, that increasing volume push. You see the increasing volume, the breakthrough resistance, the low volume pullback. So here's the low volume, the pullback. It's finding support at that daily support level. And we get that confirmation that we're going to continue once we get the break of this previous candle high at 870. So we got about a minute left. So it's important to keep an eye on the time left on the candle. I got my mouse on the buy button. So 870, now it's 880. So looking forward to that 890 to break, really. So I'm going to change my share size back to 140 because now I'm risking, I'm going back to that 70 cents, not that 40 cents. But let's see here. We got about 40 seconds left. What's the high of this candle now? It's 82. So it's holding that level of support. Looking for 90 to break. There's 88 on the ask. Got my order ready. 140 shares. Looking for 90 on the ask. $88, $90. Okay, got in at 90. Going to set my stop to just below this support level at 828. So 828 is my stop. Going to go ahead and place that 140 shares. So I'm risking $100. I want to just keep an eye on the ask here. Make sure that we're not going to run into any huge resistance. But I think that the next target we should be looking at is this 960 level on the daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart here, it's just a level I've mapped out as a swing high over here, and it's also the high of not yesterday's daily high, but the day before yesterday's daily high. So we'll look to see what the price does around that 950. We may not get our 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio, but that's okay. It's just something that we have to deal with because we need to take whatever the market is willing to provide. So right now there's no reason to exit this trade. Right now we're coming into that 860 level. I want to, or I'm sorry, 960. I want to see 960 on the ask. I want to see how many shares are around 960 to kind of give me an idea of what that resistance level may be like. So ideally, I would like to get, up to $10. I want to get at least $100 on this trade because I was risking $100. But if the market caps out, if this stock caps out at, or tops out, I guess, at 960 and starts going back down, I need to, start thinking about taking my profits. I don't want to let a winning trade go into a losing trade just because I wasn't exiting when the market was giving me an exit signal. But right now, there's no reason to exit this trade at all. Just staying patient on this. So we got 5,000 shares at 46. Let's see if 46 can get bought. Now what I can do here is adjust my stop price to break even. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my stop to break even. So I bought in at 889. I'm changing my stop to 890. So no matter what on this trade, I'm either going to make money or just break even. So there's no risk involved right now. So it looks like that we are finding a little bit of resistance at that 960 right there. But just going to stay patient, see if we can continue this uptrend, continue this momentum. So coming up through 950. Staying patient. Can't look at it and say, "Oh yeah, I got $80. Let's take it. I'll be happy with that." You want to try to squeeze out as much as possible. And to do that, you have to be patient and just watch the level 2, watch the ask, see if there's any big sellers, watch the time and sale, see if people are selling on the bid or buying on the ask. You can kind of get an idea. Well, it looks like that we are topping right there at that 960. The high of the day is 960. So we are finding some resistance at that point. But let's see if we can maybe break through it and continue this uptrend. This has been a strong stock in the past. Made a monster move about a week ago. So this is a very recognizable name. Other traders remember this, and when MBOT is hitting on their scanners, they're going to be keeping a close eye on this. So let's see if 960 can break here. We've got 956 on the ask. So having trouble right now at that 960, but just give it a second, because we're not really showing huge momentum to go down. So 960 looks like it's about to come up on the ask. People are buying at the ask. 958. Let's see if 960 can break. Okay, so there's the break of 960. See if we can keep going here. Now what we need to do is break through 960 and hold 960 as support. Just like we have back here, we broke through that 840 resistance, came down, held as support, and then continued up. That's exactly what we want to see at 960. We want to see the break and then continue. But right now, we kind of had that little false break right there. So it's showing me that the momentum could be dying right here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to sell half of my position on the ask. You see my order right there at 959. I just locked in $50 on this trade. So no matter what on this trade, I'm going to come out with $50 because my stop price is at my entry and I just locked in half of my gain. So right now I can sit back, I can relax. If it stops me out, that's okay. It looks like I'm about to get stopped out. But at least I gave half of my position a chance. I was it's unfortunate that I had to increase my my risk at cents, because ideally, I was risking 70 cents at risk, and then I changed it to, I believe, 40 cents at risk because of the way the candles were forming. But since we didn't get that confirmation until 890, I had to adjust my risk back to risking 70 cents. But if I was risking 40 cents, I would have got a 1-to-1 or maybe a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. But that happens. You have to take whatever the market provides. And ideally, yes, you want to get a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio or even a 1-to-2, but sometimes just the market won't provide it. It won't provide you with an A quality setup that's also going to give you a 1-to-1. So it's just something you can't predict, how far the stock is going to go. So you just have to take a indication of where the stock could top out at. And on this particular stock, I was getting the feeling that we are topping out at 960, just because on this candle we hit a high of 960. On the next candle we broke 960, but we barely broke it. We broke it by 6 cents, and then we started selling off, and that was an exit indicator saying, hey, 960 is a possible price that we're not going to get through today. So I'm still in this. I got my stop at 890. Let's see. The low of this candle was 891. So, wow, 1 cent away from getting stopped out. Let's see if we can hold. We got about a minute left on this candle. Let's see if we can maybe find some support, because this area, this 890 level, looks like a intraday level of support. Now, it's not a daily support level, so it's not going to be really strong, but you can kind of see that. Let me make this orange. You can kind of see that these 3 candles hit it as resistance. So resistance, resistance, resistance. What does resistance do once the price breaks through it? It comes down to test as support. So this candle right here, we came back down to test as support, and we're holding. And we have 17 seconds left, and we get this big buyer's wick at the bottom right here. So that's showing that people are buying this up. So the next thing that we got to get through is to break the high of this previous candle. So we need to break through 966 in order to continue this uptrend. So let's see what we do on the next candle right here. Are we going to break the previous candle high right here, or are we going to break through this little support area? Maybe test this 9 EMA down here, but by that time I will just be stopped out. I don't want to risk any more money just to find out if this 9 EMA will be support. I'll be happy with taking my $48. So as you can see, trading these types of stocks, day trading these penny stocks, doesn't really take a lot of money. I bought with 140 shares on a $8.90 stock. That's about a $1,200 account. So if you had $1,200 in your account and you just made $50, that's a 3-4% return on your money in just a couple of minutes. I'm still in this trade, but I locked in $50 in about 7 minutes. And judging by the look of this, I could continue to make more money. Or if I sold my entire position up here, instead of selling half, I could have locked in $100. But I'm giving these remaining shares a chance to see if maybe we curl back up, break through 960, and maybe get a test up to $11. That would be really nice. So I'll see if we can get that possibility here. So we have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We got really low volume on this pullback. So that's exactly what we want to see. Low volume on the pullback. High volume on the break, low volume on the pullback. That's a sign that the trend is going to continue. So since this is a sign that this could continue, we could possibly add to our position and only risk $50. So since we made $50 and we wanted to play another bull flag pattern, we got the break up through resistance, a test of support, and a hold, we can possibly buy some more shares at the break of this candle high at 934 with a stop below 890. So that is risking, we'll just round up to 50 cents. So if we want to risk $50, divide that by 50 cents, we would take 100 shares. So we can take, well, it's starting to go off without me. We'll see if it can break through. Let's see, we've got about a minute left. The high of this previous candle is 966, but at that point, I'll be risking, another 70 cents. So, let's see, we've got about 50 seconds left. Yeah, I think I'm not going to add to my position. I'm going to leave this one alone. I would feel more comfortable if my cents at risk was tighter. 40 cents at risk, 50 cents at risk. I can deal with that to try to make $1 in reward. But, if it breaks this 966, here we go. We're coming up to that 966. If it breaks that and I added, I'll be risking another 70 cents. And I think that at this point, since this is the second pullback, I think risking 70 cents is a little too wide. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave my 70 share position and see if we can get maybe a target up to $11. So at this point, I'm completely in control. I can just sit back. I got my stop in place for break even. So no matter what on this trade, I'm getting $48 and just giving this a chance to continue up and make new highs. So here we come. Looks like we're getting some buying right here. We got increasing lows on these candles. See, we're getting increasing lows. Now we get that pop. So we just got that pop to break session highs at 978. Still continuing to hold. So what I want to see here is a break through this daily resistance at 960, a breakthrough, maybe a retest of that resistance as support, and then continuation higher. And then I can always adjust my stop as we're continuing to break through market structures. So if we break through 960 and we start coming up to maybe 1050 or something, I can adjust my stop to 960. But looking on the ask here, we're getting some buyers. We're breaking new highs right now. Lots of buying going on the time and sales. Just broke through 10. So this is why patience pays off. So making new highs right here. We have a 10,000 share seller. I believe that was that at 10 or 1010? I couldn't see it. It happened so fast. So we just broke through that resistance. See if we can continue the momentum up. So ideally, I would love to get target up to 11 here. But I don't know how far we're going to go. We're at 10:05 session highs. We'll see if 10:05 can get bought and we can start making new highs here. So no reason to sell or panic or anything. I'm in the driver's seat. We got increasing volume on that break of resistance. Just letting this thing play out. Be patient. Let the trade develop. The key is patience and trying to get the most out of your reward. See a lot of traders cap their reward because they just want to lock in profits very quickly, but you can gain much more if you're just a little bit more patient and just let the trade work out. So we got 15 seconds left on this candle. We got a big seller's wick on here, so that's going to give me an indication that this may be the top right here. So probably going to sell half of my position up here just to lock in some profits. So there's my order at 76, just got those filled, and I'm going to adjust my stop. I have 35 shares left to below this market structure of 960. Probably going to put it at 945. So going to place a stop order at 945 for the remainder of the shares. So just locked in another $30. I'm going to come out with this final trade, final amount of shares with money no matter what, because my stop is higher than my entry price. But I'm just giving this a chance to find some support at that 960 and continue up. But I wanted to lock in profits because there is an indication that we could start to reverse down here because of this long wick at the top of that candle. Now, again, you can't predict the market. The market has no rules, has no boundaries. It's going to do whatever it's going to do, and I just got stopped out there. But all we can do is take the signals or the indications and adjust our plan based off of it and try to reduce our risk or take our profits. But the reason I sold half and not everything is because selling half is me locking in profits just because of the indication that we're going to reverse, but I'm still having some shares out there just in case if my indication or my prediction is wrong. So that's why I left 35 shares on the table just in case if we find some support at here and that indication was wrong and we continue up, but that's okay. So I got $96 on that trade. Hey, I got close to my 1-to-1 on there, so I'm perfectly happy. So that was a good trade. So I made $100 off of around a $1,200 investment. So That's a pretty good return. That's a 8.3% return on that little trade right there, which took about 20 minutes worth of work. So it's that simple. Just have to wait for that confirmation, look at the chart pattern, determine your risk, and then take your profits once you start seeing exit indicators. So that is trading the bull flag pattern in real time. Hope you all learned something. Thank you so much for watching.